You speak of checks and balances. Critics of the collegium say that, it is unprecedented that A, judges appoint themselves, B, that even the basic structure is not written into the constitution. This idea that there is a basic structure to our constitution is derived from a court judgment, right? And therefore, why should there not be the supremacy of parliament over all of this? You would say what?
Very simple. I mean, who says parliament is supreme? Allegedly the constitution, right?
So it's the constitution that is supreme.
So yes, in our framework, the ultimate authority really is the constitution. So parliament is not supreme. And the moment we accept that parliament is not supreme, the question then arises, if the constitution is supreme, who says what the constitution is? What does the constitution say? And the constitution itself gives that right to the Supreme Court. So when the Supreme Court, under our constitution, interprets and says, this is what the constitution says, it's not a violation of the doctrine of constitutional supremacy. It is a violation of the doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty. But we don't have a doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty in our country. The sovereign is the constitution, the sovereign are the people of India who have given to themselves this constitution. So the basic structure is, I think, I would have thought a very accepted and fairly non-controversial idea, but anything can be made controversial. Supposing, for instance, Parliament were tomorrow to amend the Constitution and say that this current Parliament will now be Parliament for eternity or for 20 years, 25 years. But theoretically,
they can do it.
They can do it. So would you say that, look, parliamentary sovereignty, there is nothing? Supposing Parliament was to amend the constitution and say that we have a dictatorship and we now appoint someone as a king or queen of India and to rule by decree, would we say that's parliamentary democracy and say,
but you are taking extreme examples to make your point.
No, it's not. That is why. So you understand that obviously, therefore, Parliament is not supreme. Right? Parliament doesn't have unbridled powers of amendment. So it can't go to an extreme. Then the question is, where is that line to be drawn? And the debate is, who decides where that line is to be drawn? So we go away from the question as to whether there is a basic structure doctrine or not. The answer is clearly there is, because you cannot have a kingdom or a dictatorship. So you agree that there is an idea of a basic structure. The dispute then moves to what is the basic structure and who has the right to decide the basic structure. Well, if the Supreme Court has the right to interpret Article 21, 19, every other article, then why not the basic structure? That's a constitutional scheme of things.
Is there a better way, though, to choose judges?
There are always, this is reminding me of the argument against democracy. That
is there a better system than democracy? With all its imperfections, it's the best we have.
It's the best.
Is that how you feel about the collegium?
I have increasingly come.
But there are interesting changes in the court, right? These kind of public statements, owning your disagreements. When Uday Lalit was Chief Justice, the fact that he disagreed with present Chief Justice Chandrachud, all of this was placed in the public domain. I think it's healthy.
I think it's very healthy. To say that there is opacity is not fair and it's not correct. On the one hand, courts are actually one of the most open places there are. They hear arguments in open. They give their judgments in open. Collegium recommendations are put out there in the open. Now, can I ask the same of Parliament or the executive? Do I know why someone has been made a cabinet minister or has not been made a cabinet minister? Why has someone been given a portfolio? Why has someone's portfolio been taken away from them? Now,
why has Kiran Rijiju been sacked?
Well, I'm not taking any names, but cabinets are formed every day.
Yeah.
Posts are assigned every day.
Yeah.
Now, why do we not expect transparency there? We expect judges who are unelected to be open, and we do not expect the same kind of transparency from members of parliament who are elected. So I think that's being a bit disingenuous on part of people to say that there is opacity. No, there isn't. Every decision that a Supreme Court takes has reasons. You may agree with the reasons, you may disagree with the reasons. Can I say the same of the executive or parliament? Parliament doesn't give any reasons. It comes out with an enactment for whatever reason. There is often no debate in parliament, so we don't know what the reason is. In executive, policy decisions are taken. It's only when that policy is challenged in court that sometimes reasons come out. And now that we have RTI, sometimes reasons come out, but often that does not happen. So really, I think one of the most open institutions in the country today is the courts.